So how would you define conscious ownership at this point in time? What is it for you?
Yeah, for me, it's about the way we look at it. We have now a great team of 7 working on this initiative. The way we look at it, we have actually 4 angles in which we differentiate from other approaches. Underlying all of that is one central theme, which is a 180-degree turn in intention of the owner. So underlying is what we just described. It's a radical change in intention. So from actually taking to giving. And then there are 4 dimensions which we will actively offer and pursue in the companies that we intend to acquire or the companies in which we intend to invest. One is evergreen, long term. So what's happening now is that business is overall focused on short-term return. That's just how we have evolved our capitalist system, our economy. So what people don't realize is there's an increasing amount of companies owned by private equity. And it has a period of holding, which is like on average 7 years, and it's getting shorter, because the shorter you own a company, the higher your return is on average. But it does something with how the company is run. It does something with the purpose of the company. So the long term is very important. So what we say is when we buy a company, it's basically forever, unless there's another owner that is actually better to serve, to manifest the purpose of the company. Then we would gladly sell it or transcend it, hand over to another owner.
But only then.
Only then. So it's a long term. We are in it for the long term, and you make very different choices if you feel more like family businesses look at their companies.
And it's what you've experienced yourself as well as a co-owner of your current company.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I've experienced. So I don't blame people buying companies and selling companies short term. I've done it myself. I mean, it's just the game that we now allow people to play, and people fill those roles. Also, those people who fill the roles and make incredible amounts of money, they long for a different society. It's just that at the current moment, we have those roles, and we allow people to fill those roles. Now, what the whole purpose, mission of Breathe Conscious Ownership is to actually demonstrate that we can fill that role of owner and shareholder in a very different way, which is in service of the whole, that it's fun, that it's meaningful, and that is also that we can create maximum value for all stakeholders. And I'll come back to that in a moment. So the 4 dimensions, one is long term. The second is we like the companies that we are going to be involved in to be focusing on manifesting their purpose. Not profit, it's actually their purpose, but also very much ingrained in everything they do. So all processes, every decision is actually aligned and congruent with the purpose of that company. So that becomes a very important part. So we want to take mainstream businesses and help them become much more purpose-driven. And the purpose can be to be like making tables, designer tables. I mean, it doesn't mean any loftier than that. It's just that, these people do this to serve the whole. So we make these tables because then people can have like offices with good energy where they can sit around and have a great working space. It doesn't mean to be kind of now end CO2 emissions. It mainstream business, but purpose-driven. So that's very important, number 2. The third thing is that we like to actually work with those companies so that they maximum their return for all stakeholders, which means we like to balance what we create for stakeholders. Now, what very few companies do at this moment, fortunately you see more increase in that, is to define clear aspirations, so targets, big, hairy, audacious goals, for each stakeholder, including the planet, including society. I mean, we don't give a voice to the planet.
Yeah.
We take from it. And so in our approach, we like to create a governance structure where we have actually a person which we trust is representing the earth well enough to actually have a say about what the earth would actually want from this company and from us as a holding company.
Oh, that's so awesome.
We want society to be represented. So to also by a person in the governance that we also have society a voice. What is society? And not that we comply to the rules. No, the compliance is always behind what's actually needed. What is society asking us now and in the future as a company, as a business? So we want to have those voices next to employers, next to other stakeholders. We want to give it a voice. So we want to be balancing stakeholders, but what we do is we optimize the return. We're looking for the highest return for the whole, and then we will find a very innovative way to actually split the value created, and I'll get that back later. And the fourth dimension is actually, which may not surprise you, coming from Aberkyn, that we will focus on leadership development and culture change. Why? Because without that, we cannot do the first three. We cannot be long-term, really, really long-term, because it requires to be patient.
Yeah.
We cannot focus on purpose if we're not able to emerge purpose in an empowering way. We cannot operate with all stakeholders in balance if we're not conscious enough and to see from different levels. And like the Barrett model, I don't know if you know it, is brilliant, I think, with the 7 levels of consciousness. I mean, from every level, that's why we are confused in the world, because people are talking from different levels. If I'm level 1, which is purely about financial survival, I'm focusing on profits. Yeah. If I'm at level 7, which is self-service, I want to do good for the whole. And I don't meet, but we want to be active in all 7 levels, which means like full spectrum companies. And then you can thrive. We need to be profitable. We need to take care of our customers. We need to be efficient. We need to be able to transform. We want to be authentic. We want to make a difference, and we want to be of service for the whole, all 7.
Yeah.
Full spectrum companies. That requires leadership development, culture change. So we want to offer that very actively.